Control land pollution. Control land pollution by land conservation, land restoration, and land management. Land conservation is the most crucial step in land preservation because it focuses on preserving natural resources that are vulnerable to human disturbance or misuse. This includes wildlife habitat protection, watersheds protection, and other areas that have a high ecological value. While land conservation does not involve any construction work or physical alterations of land use patterns, it still has many benefits for humans, including clean drinking water and healthy ecosystems. Control land pollution by recycle and reuse. Reusing and recycling materials is the perfect way to reduce land pollution. It's simple. When you recycle or reuse, it means fewer resources are being used up in production for products that will eventually end up as garbage anyway. Reuse items instead of throwing them away when they're still usable so we can all enjoy our beautiful planet a little bit longer. Land pollution has been a problem for years. It is important to remember that the environment will not fix itself, and we need to make changes in our behaviors so as to help save it for generations of people who haven't yet even made their way into this world. One thing you can do right now is recycle and reuse. Paper towel rolls are perfect if anything happens at your house because they come with 2 paper towels inside, which makes them really convenient when trying to clean up spills or wash dishes on those days where there's just too much going on around the kitchen sink. Control land pollution by better city planning. The solution to land pollution could lie in better city planning. By introducing green spaces, which are habitats for animals and plants, we can reduce the amount of waste that is generated by humans living there. Addressing environmental issues through urban design deals with them on a manageable scale rather than looking at large areas like whole countries or continents where it may be challenging to find solutions because they have different communities who rely on specific industries such as mining or farming. City planners should consider how their plans will impact future generations, not just today's society, when making decisions about new construction projects, so this way everyone has some say in what happens next. By implementing better city planning, land pollution can be reduced. One way this could happen is by building parks or green spaces in areas where people live to make it easier for them to walk and bicycle instead of driving their cars all the time. Control land pollution by controlling the population. Land pollution is a significant problem in our world. The people of Earth have reached over 7 billion people and continue to grow exponentially, creating more waste than the planet can handle. It's time we stop letting these numbers get out of hand so that land pollution will cease. If we control the population, then land pollution will be reduced. A recent study found that in order to reduce our impacts on Earth by 50%, which is what experts recommend for the sustainability of life as it exists today, there must not only be a concerted effort made to reduce emissions and use more renewable energy sources but also an effective means of reducing human populations so that each individual has less impact than they currently do now. One way this can happen naturally would involve humans adapting their lifestyles, such as through choosing childbirth spacing or having fewer children over time until coming back into balance with Mother Nature again, like many other species have done before us when threatened with extinction due to unsustainable numbers in times past. Control land pollution by controlling construction activities. Control land pollution by controlling construction activities and enforcing stricter building codes to cut down on excess runoff. For instance, studies have shown that one way of reducing water pollutants is through the use of permeable surfaces such as porous pavement or green roofs because they allow rainwater to flow into the ground rather than being funneled away in creeks and rivers where it contributes significantly more damage. Construction activity has the potential to be detrimental for ecosystems and human health in general because it often includes heavy machinery which disturbs soil on agricultural plots or other well-used areas as they tear up the turf, plow through dirt roads, etc. In order to avoid this problem altogether by reducing environmental impacts from a process like these, we need only control their use. Control land pollution by avoiding plastic bags. The use of plastic bags has polluted our planet. The more we buy, the further away they go from their actual function and instead become a nuisance that clogs up landfills or ends up as litter in oceans. An abandoned bag can take over 1,000 years to decompose. If you're reading this, it's probably because you want to know how to reduce land pollution. Well, there are lots of simple things we can do with the goal of reducing our plastic bag usage and other types of single-use disposables that end up in landfills or worse. For example, bring reusable net for your coffee, use cloth shopping bags instead of paper ones, take an extra canvas grocery sack when buying food from shops, so they don't have to wrap it and buy like everything else on earth has been covered since forever. There are many steps anyone can make towards making their life more sustainable. Check out these plastic-free July tips, which will give some insight into ways everyone could cut back on plastics. Control land pollution by using eco-friendly products. Land pollution can be reduced by using eco-friendly products. When you stop buying those environmentally unfriendly materials, there is less of a chance that they will end up in the environment and contaminate our air or water. Land pollution can easily be reduced if we all start making better choices when shopping for goods. The cleaner the items are before they hit your home, like choosing to buy reusable produce bags instead of plastic ones, means fewer things going into landfills where bacteria break them down underground, releasing toxic gas, which damages crops at ground level as well as ruining marine life downstream because sediment carries toxins from agricultural runoff off farm fields then dumps this chemical cocktail onshore with devastating consequences to aquatic plants and animals. Control land pollution by planting trees. One step in the fight against land pollution is to plant trees. Trees provide shade and absorb carbon dioxide from the environment, reducing air pollutants like ozone gas, methane emissions from power plants, or natural sources such as cows' flatulence. They also filter water runoff, so it's cleaner for drinking. A recent study published by Environmental Research Letters found that planting just one tree can clean up an average of 37 gallons of polluted rainwater each year. Planting trees can help reduce the damage of land pollution. Trees are a natural way to capture carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Trees act as an effective barrier against air, water, soil erosion by capturing carbon dioxide and releasing stable oxygen back into our atmosphere. Plant more in your backyard or community spaces today. It's easier than ever with online tree nursery services. Control land pollution. Control land pollution by reducing road trips. Reducing the number of trips you take can not only help to reduce land pollution but also make your life easier. The land pollution of the planet can be reduced by reducing trips to and from work. By reducing trips and utilizing public transportation, we can help to reduce the amount of land pollution released from vehicles each year. A recent study has shown that these environmentally conscious households own, on average, 3 automobiles total. The need for a commute is just one reason why we should all consider cycling as an alternative means of transportation, but others include being kinder on your wallet, keeping fit in between commutes with exercise like biking or walking, so you're not too tired at home after coming back from work, or during it. Lessening environmental harm due to emissions that would otherwise pollute our atmosphere if cars were used instead, plus getting out into nature while exercising may also improve mood. Control land pollution. Control land pollution by adequately managing waste materials of industries. New legislation is being considered to prevent land pollution. These regulations will force industry leaders and other entities with waste products on hand to find more sustainable ways of handling their wastes, such as adequately sorting them into recyclable containers or finding new methods that are less harmful to the environment. A number of different government officials have been thinking about putting in place tighter restrictions on industries that produce a lot of polluting materials so they can help combat environmental hygiene issues like groundwater contamination and dirty air quality associated with many factories all over the world. Industry businesses must be responsible enough not only to ensure safety precautions but also to lessen any negative impact that they're making against our planet. Control land pollution. Control land pollution by adequately cutting meat. Eating healthy and cutting up your meat correctly will not only make it easier for you to consume but reduce land pollution as well. The average person produces about 4.5 pounds of waste every day, and that's just from the food they eat. When we cut meat, it releases harmful bacteria into our environment, which can lead to land pollution. Did you know that by simply cutting your roots properly before eating them, then throwing away these scraps rather than putting them in a landfill where animals like raccoons might dig up rotting pieces and get sick too? It saves money on gas for transportation of garbage trucks as well. Control land pollution by regular transport checkup. Transport vehicles are a leading cause of land pollution, but it is possible to reduce this problem with the help of routine vehicle health checks. All from time to time, we drive our cars and trucks on polluted roads that contain oil slicks left behind by other drivers who do not bother changing their tires often enough. The more that people check their oil and tires, the less land pollution there will be. It's easy to reduce your carbon footprint by checking over all of these critical features on a regular basis. The secret to reducing land pollution is simple. Make sure you are always keeping up with routine maintenance for any vehicle driven in town or city limits. Checking tire pressure can go an exceptionally long way towards decreasing greenhouse gas emissions as well as general car accidents if done each time correctly before driving anywhere significant.